It's me, Grandmaster Thomas Doyle, and in this post I'm going to be talking about Bruce Lee, martial artist or fighter. Now, I never actually met Bruce Lee. I came very close to buying one of his kimonos that was for sale online a long time ago. I never met Bruce. I was born a long time after Bruce died, or supposedly died. Now, to be honest, there's quite a lot I could say about Bruce Lee. I'm not going to be completely behind Bruce Lee, and I'm not going to be completely against Bruce either. In this post, I'm just going to be stating my piece, you see. Now, I personally believe that lots of people miss the point about Bruce Lee being the best who ever lived. Do I think that Bruce Lee was the best martial artist who ever lived? Absolutely not. No way in hell. Now, anyone can see my videos. I punch better than Bruce Lee. You can look at my weapon video, my weapon kata. I created those kata. Could Bruce Lee ever use weapons as good as me? Absolutely not. Now, let's not think that it's going this way. I'm just going to give my opinions. But when it comes to Bruce Lee, people miss the point as to the importance of his legend. The thing is, Bruce Lee was alive and famous in very racist times, and Bruce Lee's legend is important because Bruce Lee basically came forth and said, it doesn't matter who you are, what colour your skin is, where you come from, anyone can do this martial arts stuff if they can be bothered, you know, and that is the main point I think people miss. But there's quite a lot about Bruce Lee that we'll never know, and it's only what somebody wanted to write in a book, what people have said about Bruce and all of this stuff. And lots of these people are like me. They never actually met the person. They've just read a lot of books and seen his films, and there's very much a sheep effect, especially with Hollywood and martial arts and people. And I think that lots of people like to believe in the idea of a legend. If millions of people say that something is true, then lots of people do not know any evidence to the contrary, so they agree with the other people saying this person's the best, this person's the best. Now, when it comes to Bruce Lee, you have to understand, I am a grandmaster, and it's much easier to say Bruce Lee was the best martial artist who ever lived than it is to actually research martial arts, to train for decades, and to actually realise, no, he wasn't that good. But the thing is, Bruce Lee was very good as a fighter. Bruce Lee had lots of moves and lots of skills and lots of different, a little bit of knowledge of lots of styles. But I think Bruce Lee was an excellent fighter. Do I think Bruce Lee was a martial arts expert? No. Now, that's going to cause outrage with lots of people. But hear me out. Bear in mind, I have decades of experience in the martial arts. I've trained with hundreds of people. I've had people that are masters of Kung Fu telling me that I was their favourite student. I've made a lot of friends in the martial arts. And I've even heard people saying that Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee are both still alive. Now, I'm not saying one way or the other, but doesn't anyone think it's a coincidence that Bruce Lee, one of his last films was, I think, Game of Death, and he fakes his own death to escape harassment and all this shit, and then he's actually dead in real life. Didn't anyone actually think that's a bit of bullshit? And similarly with Brandon Lee. Brandon Lee fake his own death. Everyone thinks that he's dead because of The Crow. And in the character, The Crow, he dies and comes back to life for revenge. It's possible that Brandon and Bruce are both living in China somewhere, but I don't say one way or the other. It's all very much just different opinions and things, but as with this post, it's just my opinions on Bruce Lee. Now, you may be thinking, some of these people listening to this may be furious. Why do you think Bruce Lee is not a martial arts expert? Well, one of the main things is Bruce Lee never had any rank, legitimate belt rank, earned from anywhere. So, if you imagine all these karate dojos, kung fu places, people he trained with, and you haven't got one rank. Now, if somebody came into one of my clubs and they was like, oh, I'm the best and all of this stuff, and or you wanted to compete in a tournament I was hosting, for example, and you told me you didn't have any rank, you wouldn't be able to compete. Now, to the people that are not very well knowledgeable in the martial arts, except for Hollywood films and things, you do get these monkeys that say rank and belts and things don't matter. It's an absolute joke. Rank is very important indeed. There is a hierarchy in martial arts schools. That, just like the army, there is positions, there's hierarchy, there's different ranks. Can you imagine an army without ranks? It would fall to pieces. Rank is very important. And with instructors, it helps instructors to know what level you're studying at. You see? So, it's very important to have ranks. I cannot take it seriously when people say, oh, Bruce Lee was the best who ever lived, the best martial artist ever. The man didn't have one belt in karate or anything. So technically, little kids I used to help teach taekwondo, on paper with their yellow belt or whatever, on paper is better than Bruce Lee ever was. Now also, there's the Wong Jackman fight with Bruce Lee, and I believe that Wong Jackman actually put Bruce Lee in his place, and it was hushed up. It was hushed up, and the thing is, what lots of people do not know, or they don't want to know, about the Wong Jackman Bruce Lee incident is after Wong Jackman said to Bruce Lee, and it was in print apparently, any time Bruce Lee could come back and challenge him again for a rematch. Now, the common story is that Bruce Lee kicked the crap out of Wong Jackman, and I will never agree with that, because if Bruce Lee, put it this way, if Bruce Lee kicked the crap out of you, would you openly challenge him to a rematch any time? Of course not. Now, it's not just me, but it's lots of people that know that story is the truth. So it's not just my opinion there with the Wong Jackman thing. But there's quite a bit that's debatable. But I think there's a lot of truth in the Wong Jackman beating Bruce Lee story. And I heard that he created Jeet Kune Do, Bruce created Jeet Kune Do after the Wong Jackman incident to try and save face. Now, it's very possible that Bruce Lee was angering a lot of people, and he faked his own death to escape all of the attention that he was getting, while still cementing his legend. Now, many people would say Bruce Lee wasn't actually really famous at all until after he died, unfortunately. Now, I'm not against Bruce Lee. I grew up watching Bruce Lee films and things, and I think it was amazing, his films. But as a martial arts expert, I don't agree. Also, Bruce Lee, I have heard and people have told me and things that I've read, he could not stand kata. Now, lots of martial arts have kata, and we break down the kata. From the kata, we have self-defense applications and how to defend ourselves. Now, Bruce Lee did a lot of research and a little bit of philosophy from all different books, and it's his philosophy. Lots of people can quote things from different books and say it's theirs. And back at the time, there was nobody gave a crap about martial arts anywhere like they do now, you see. So I think Bruce Lee did very well for himself, exploiting martial arts to create his own legend. But I've also heard about Bruce Lee going into karate dojos, and he would fight the students, but he would never fight the instructors, because he'd probably get his ass kicked, you see? And this is what happened a few times, apparently, but, I cannot really name names and things. And also, after I've heard that Bruce Lee had a very, very bad temper. Now, if you go to a karate dojo or somewhere, and you try to learn martial arts in the class, and you are bad-tempered, you will not last 5 minutes, you see? So, you cannot have a bad temper, you cannot be someone who hates kata, you cannot be someone who's against everything that we stand for as martial arts experts. And, Bruce Lee, the story of Bruce Lee and his legend and stuff, you can pull the wool over the eyes of the general public who don't know any different. But people that train in real life for decades, people that live and breathe martial arts, they know Bruce Lee wasn't that good, but his message was good, Now, I don't think that Bruce Lee was that bad. I think as a fighter, as someone who could fight, he was phenomenal. I think he was amazing. But as a martial artist, I don't agree. I don't think there's much depth to Bruce Lee's teachings and his philosophies and things. And, I've seen Jeet Kune Do and stuff, and some of it's okay, but, the kicks are a joke, the punches are weak. And I know I'm causing outrage with this post, but I have to tell the truth as a Grandmaster. I don't say, Bruce Lee was the fucking best who ever lived because everyone else said it. Because it's not true, you see? You have to realise it's a very big planet. There's billions of people on this planet, and there's probably about 20 million people at least, probably more like 100 million martial arts experts that could kick Bruce Lee's ass when he was in his prime, you see. And that is not an exaggeration. But people like to believe in a legend, you see. And I think maybe it is possible that Bruce Lee did fake his own death to escape being harassed and to forge a legend of martial arts, you see. Now, some people have said about Bruce Lee, and after he was dead, all of a sudden everybody loved him and everyone said he was the best. But when he was alive, lots of people hated Bruce Lee. Now, there was an interview with Bob Wall in the 1970s in a Kung Fu magazine, I think. I mean, this is all before I was born, but it was Bob Wall and I think other people were doing interviews. And they were actually saying, less than a year after Bruce Lee had died, Bruce Lee wasn't that good, actually. Bruce Lee was rubbish. And then, give it a month or so, and they've changed their tune. And they spent the rest of their lives saying, you know what, Bruce Lee was the best who ever lived. Nobody was better than Bruce Lee. And do you know why they said that? Not because it was true, but because there's lots of money in it. The thing is, if you say Bruce Lee is rubbish, nobody wants to interview you anymore. Even if it is true, but if you say Bruce Lee was the best who ever lived and all this stuff, then you can keep saying it, you can keep making lots of money. You see? So Bruce Lee, do I think Bruce Lee was the best martial artist who ever lived and all this stuff? Absolutely not. I think Bruce Lee was an amazing fighter, but I think he was very bad-tempered. He never had one single rank in any martial art. And I don't think he knew one kata in his entire life. So that's just my opinions. I don't mean to offend anyone. The guy could still be alive. Bruce and Brandon could still be alive. And if they are, I don't wish anyone any disrespect. But I have to speak because I'm a grandmaster and it's my opinion. So I'm not going to argue with people's opinions. I can't be bothered. So thank you for listening to this. I hope you enjoyed the post. Have an amazing day.